This is the second episode of my podcast dedicated to the very painful topic of human translation, pure human translation becoming an illusion. In the first part, I talked about the reasons, that is, why we cannot rely on pure human translation in a commercial environment with big volumes and aggressive deadlines and no control over individual translators as far as they have access to the source, that is, to the text that needs to be translated, and they do it, well, assumingly they do it manually. Now, let's talk about expectations. What we really need. And in reality, it's not the human translation we need. We need high quality, reliable translation. What does it mean? First of all, multi-stage process with numerous checks that is clear, understandable, including context, glossaries, translation members, everything applied properly. Second, as far as we're talking about human level quality, let's not forget that content is still designed for humans. We need a human editing or review or whatever you call it stage as part of the whole process. So humans are still critical at this stage. And let me also tell you that even with the most sought for profession right now, and today these are no longer rocket scientists, these are plumbers and electricians, still the demand is limited. You only need so many of them. At the same time, the volume of content seems to be multiplying without any limits. So, believe me, humans will still play a role, and, well, at least for the next several years. Third thing, apart from guaranteed human editing and a multi-stage guaranteed clear and concise process, no cheating. That is, no hidden process shortcuts, because we cannot fully trust humans as far as they have access to the source text. No stages omitted, that is, if you wanted editing, it should be there, not that you translate and deliver. And obviously, no chain outsourcing to super cheap or non native resources. And finally, the last but not the least, absolutely zero confidentiality violations, which means no public machine translations or AI engines used ever. That is absolutely crucial. So, at a certain moment in time, given everything I said, well, let's make the inevitable conclusion. We must use technology responsibly, not fight it. So it's time to stop futile attempts to catch all violators or just become modern Luddites and fight technological progress and destroy machines. Okay, in that area, we already have multiple reliably working pieces. First piece, AI-backed translation improvement that I mentioned in the first part. It improves translation quality noticeably after either raw machine translation or after AI or even after humans. And it's context aware. Second, AI-backed quality assurance, that is QA. It finds a lot of errors, that's our statistical results and our experience overall. And this includes not only errors in translation, but, interestingly enough, errors in the source. Later on, I'll maybe share a couple of such things. And once again, this tool is context aware. That is, it will find errors where something was translated out of context. These are correct translations, but they relate to the generic area rather than something particular where different terminology needs to be used for one and the same common word. Finally, AI-backed glossary creation. That is, we can either create glossary based on source materials or existing translation memories or even files. And once again, it's context aware, it's not perfect. Human interaction, as with any AI, is still required, but it improves things a lot and it makes our jobs easier and allows us to work faster. Okay, now we need to find a very good acronym for this process. Everyone starts with an acronym for some reason. So we called it PRISM. That is, control not fight it, and let's decipher the acronym. So first of all, it means utilizing technology responsibly, optimally, control the whole process, and minimize risks. So P in PRISM stands for pre-translation. That is, using translation memories and TM alignment. R stands for raw, MT, or AI translation. Obviously, it covers the remaining segments or parts of the text that have not been translated automatically using translation memories. I stands for AI-backed improvement. That is, automated, context-sensitive editing, terminology alignment, and unification, which is important and it works pretty well. Finally, you're wondering where the human is. It's in S. That is specialist review. That's where the human expert participates and ensures human-level output quality after AI improvement. Obviously, this also resolves another issue, because for years clients have been requesting pricing for so-called light machine translation with post-editing, or light MTPE. The problem was, as soon as the human needs to touch and look or edit the segments after machine translation, you cannot make it much faster than, say, regular editing after machine translation. There is no way to do it 5 times faster with any reasonable quality. You either look at it, you either understand the translation, or you do not have time for this. Currently, with all those automated translation and improvement stages, we can finally say, okay, we've got at least a solution at the architectural level. That is, let's omit the human stage and just stay with raw machine translation plus AI-backed customized improvement. Then the latest letter, M. I was rambling about specialist review, so we may have forgotten the whole acronym, and it's PRISM. So the latest one, M, means metric-based QA. And it's a hybrid QA, both QA software, just the regular without any AI, plus AI. And can be customized for each client account, for each type of content, for each subject matter area. And not only QA software, but even AI QA tools, they do accept metrics. So depending on the goals, depending on the most important or most crucial issues, we can customize this. And this is fantastic, actually. So the advantages, because we need to kind of explain why this process is much better than the current, what is called alleged pure human translation. So first of all, everybody knows what is being delivered. So the multi-stage process with numerous checks is guaranteed. Second, no empty substitutes. That is, we no longer risk having translators promise us human translation but actually returning empty translation. Third, no stages omitted by human. You cannot skip editing or review at the final stage just because when humans are asked to do editing or review only and nothing else, they'll most probably look at the text and do exactly as asked. Because it's very easy to compare the output before the humans and after the humans. If there are no changes, then I should have a very detailed general explanation saying that everything was translated by and improved by AI perfectly. The second big kind of global improvement, proven efficiency. First of all, hybrid QA checks, that is combining regular QA tools plus AI tools, they discover most meaning distortions, that is adequacy issues, which purely automated regular tools are not so good at. Second, intelligibility issues when something is formulated too clumsy to understand. And also inconsistencies and technical errors. Regular tools are pretty good at that, and AI tools complement them. Second, continuous process and technology improvements. First of all, AI engines improve all the time. Second, we can fine-tune metrics for this AI QA process depending on the false positives we're getting, and it's much faster and more efficient compared to trying to eliminate false positives from regular QA tools. And finally, it's adaptability, because we can customize QA metrics for AI within a very wide range and cover various subject matter areas, different clients, and everything, including tailored tones of voice, tailored style, and glossary usage, depending on the situation. Okay, are there any negatives? Well, to be honest, we do not see any, because output quality is as good as formerly pure human has been, but the process is more reliable and more efficient. But there is a big challenge, and at the moment we do not have a perfect answer. I would really appreciate if you get back to me with your bright ideas. So the challenge is how to measure effort adequately, because humans still organize all those stages, they also edit it, but we definitely need to shift from the traditional word-based rates to something that looks like per hour charge or per project charge, and we're still not absolutely sure how to price this adequately so that nobody suffers and everybody wins. Thank you very much indeed, and in the next edition I'll probably talk about our first attempts at trying to do this, interesting anecdotes, particular examples, and all the other interesting stuff.